Let's go.
Dr. Rosie Milligan, one of the most sought-after speakers on the circuit today. Her live internet talk show, Express Yourself, is the most provocative, thought-provoking, and talked-about radio show on the internet. There's no holds barred, and Dr. Milligan puts the B in bold. She brings it every Tuesday live at 10 a.m. Pacific and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Dr. Rosie has been proclaimed the most provocative female writer of the century. Her books include Satisfying the Black Man and Black Woman Sexually Made Simple, Why Black Men Choose White Women, and the book Nigga Please. These books have raised eyebrows across the country. She has authored 21 books and published 350 titles for authors nationwide. Check Dr. Rosie out at drrosie.com for her books, articles, and archives of her internet talk show. Sit at the feet of wisdom. Dr. Milligan is indeed a timekeeper and scorekeeper. She is the clock, calendar, and almanac for Black America. You need to hear her.
Well, good morning, top of the morning. You're listening to the Express Yourself Hour. I am your host, Dr. Rosie Milligan, coming to you live with nothing but straight talk. That's how we do it around here, nothing but straight talk. We have an excellent show for you today, and I am so excited. And we have our co-host back. You know what? We have 3 co-hosts on today, folks. This year is bringing on something different for everybody and in every way. Let me introduce my guest, Mr. Keith Swanson. He's the AI man. You guys know who he is. Everybody been trying to figure out, where is Keith? Does he really exist? AI, are you on? Well, Shawannah, where's AI?
Girl, he's AI. You know that. He's just going to pop in on us.
That's how AI does things, okay? But anyway, he'll pop in later. We have Shawannah Bordenave. She's our real estate guru. Folks, she buys houses, she sells houses, she flips houses. She does everything you can do to houses. How you doing, Shawannah?
I'm doing fantastic, Dr. Rosie. I am in LA too, so.
Yeah, I know. You all over the country buying houses and selling houses. I'm really excited. Throw your phone number out there right now while we're talking about it.
Okay. Yeah, anybody have any real estate questions, anything that you need to do, you want to sell a piece of property, buy a piece of property, fix up a piece of property, whatever it is you want to do, just have some questions about property. Feel free to give me a call at 310-420-9046. Once again, that number is 310-420-9046. I am here to help your needs, your real estate needs.
All right, and she's going to do a great job. You guys, you cannot go wrong. So, want to buy, want to sell, want to flip, call Shawannah. That's what we're talking about. And I have a new standby co-host on today, a longtime friend, none other than Miss Rita Hall. She is one just diehard. She put on big conferences dealing with children in the foster care system. She's an sergeant, police officer, peace officer. You know, we call them so many things. And she does excellent classes on safety. In fact, we're going to have her to do a whole show telling people how to be safe these days, because I'm telling you, it's nothing to play with, and it's going to get worse if the economy doesn't get better. You're going to need her to tell you how to be safe coming in your house, going out your house, and while you're in your house. Good morning, Rita.
Good morning, Dr. Milligan. Thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, we're so happy to have you today. You know, she keeps us safe around here. Thank you, Miss Rita.
You're welcome.
So, you guys, today we're going to talk about a subject that's so needed. In fact, I am getting ready to do a conference. It will be called a closed door conference for Black women. Did you guys hear what I said? A closed. Ain't nobody else coming up in there. Because I have a message, we have a message for Black women. Closed door conference. So today we're talking about Black women, the backbone of economy revival. And we're going to talk about uncomfortable truths that we must face now. You know, we want to dive into the critical action black women must take to prevent economic destruction in the black community and safeguard the financial future for the black community. And we ask the question, are black women doing enough? Are they inadvertently contributing to the decline? That's what I want you to put a pin in, those who listen. I want you to put a pin and think about this question. Are black women doing enough? I know what you all going to say. She doing too much. She raising the kids. She doing. Okay, think about it. Are they inadvertently contributing to the decline? It's time to have a hard conversation, make bold moves, and challenge the status quo. So that's why we're talking about this topic today. And I know we're going to have a lot of people who have a lot to say about this. But folks, let me paint the picture so you can understand why I'm saying this. The reason I'm not picking on black women, but I am singling out black women to shine the spotlight on. Not what we have not done, because we've done great. In fact, the greatest, the most entrepreneurs, people who are starting up businesses in today's market are black women. Now, don't get it twisted. Black women are doing something, okay? But still, 60% of black households are headed by a black woman. About 4.15 million black families have a single mother. Now, you may say, what does that have to do with the tea in China? Well, we're looking at income disparity, where you got one household, one person in the house, and you already have to look at the fact that the black woman earns 64 cents to every dollar that other ethnicity earns. So she's already behind the eighth ball with disparity when it comes to income. And to couple it off, there's one income in her house versus two in many other houses. Trying to paint a picture. Now, so what happened? That leaves the black woman with fewer assets and savings to pass down, which can contribute to generational wealth for the black community. Now, the other thing, they often get tied up with student loans, a lot of debt. Now, when all of this, you put all this together, trying to provide housing, trying to provide food, making less than any other ethnic group, in the house by yourself, now you wonder what the black community look like economically, because you're dealing with the least amount of income. You're dealing in the fact that even though you have businesses within that community, how much money is left above the basic needs to really shop in these stores, to build these businesses? Folks, we have a lot to think about. So what we're going to look at is what black women can do to revive this economic condition with the money that they do have. Wow. Wow. So I guess we'll start looking at what are black women spending on money on that they could stop. Shawannah, what do you think black women can do to infuse, to revive the black community?
I think that we need to watch how we spend our money on our hair. You know, when we're doing our hair.
Girl, you're going to get in trouble. You're going to have folks sending emails
well, that's here. A lot. When you add that up in a year's time, what can you do with that? I mean, it's okay to do it once in a while, but not all the time, because that's a lot of money that you're spending on stuff that doesn't make sense. Cars, getting cars because your friend has a car and you want that car. Don't get it yet. You know, invest inside of a property or something before you invest in that. You know, I think that it's better to invest in real estate. Invest in yourself. A lot of people will always tell me, Shawannah, you don't spend your money. But I do. I spend it on things that matter, like properties. I'm not going to go out and buy the next best clothes, the next best purse, jewelry. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to showboat that way. I'm going to save my money, and I'm going to buy something that makes sense, because if I buy a property today, it's going to be worth so much more tomorrow. I mean, people snoozed on purchasing properties back in 2008 when the properties were considered down and everybody was scared to invest. I mean, that was the time to invest. We have to realize when there's an opening and when we need to move forward in doing that. But I do believe in saving out your money and not spending it on stuff that can't give you a return. I say take your dollars, send them out to work, and let them come back with more dollars. Open the door for them and say, come on back in. So
wow, that makes
that's
sense.
what I like to do.
Yeah, if we don't revive this economy, then if we're not going to be able to buy homes, if you can't buy it, then your children can't buy it, then we'll foster a generation of children that will buy property for other people. Let me underscore that.
Right.
When you're renting, I'm going to repeat that. When you are renting, you are buying property for someone else. So we're looking at the fact with the single homes, and you can't do nothing about that. We ain't blaming you for that. We're going to talk about what is. I'm not looking at what caused it. How come she's single? I don't care nothing about that. We want to talk about right now. As Shawannah always talk about, let's stay in the now. Let's stay in the now.
Let's stay in the
what
now.
Can we do now?
Well, Dr. Rosie, I want to teach people how to buy real estate. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, let me come back to you. What can we do now with what we have? I don't care if you're single, whatever. What can you do now? We're talking about reviving the community in an economic standpoint. Now I want you to see the big picture. If I'm talking about 60% head of household, already making less money than the average person, last to be hired and first to be fired, couple all those things in and look at the cost of food and the cost of housing, what's going to be left? Wow. What's going to be left unless we chop off some of the things that we've been doing? It's no other way. Miss Rita, what's your thought?
Well, like the esteemed person speaking before me, we shop too much, and I'm guilty of that. We shop too much, and we pay too much trying to flow show. The kids call it flossing. I went through that stage when I was younger, but now I realize I don't need to wear designer clothes. I have a name. It's Rita Hall. I don't need to pay for Yves Saint Laurent or any of those other people, because people don't care what you have on. We have to change and flip our mindset. Instead of having a $1,000 purse, have a $25 purse with $975 in it.
Come on now.
We have to rethink our value system. Clothes don't make us. They may enhance us, but they don't make us. What
we make
makes
clothes,
us,
huh? We make clothes.
Exactly. What makes us is our integrity, our character. Those are the two things that cannot be changed. If you are, I don't want to be known for, ooh, she sure did dress really nice. I want to be known for, oh, she had a good heart. She gave, she helped people, she encouraged people. Those are the things that are going to last. And you know yourself, Dr. Milliken, for the last 2 weeks, I've been cleaning out my closet, bringing clothes here to help your project. I'm not going to wear a lot of them again anyway. So why hold on to something when we can utilize it to help somebody? That's one less outfit somebody else has to buy. We need to get back to our Southern roots, because you and I are both Southern girls. Back in the day, if Miss Ann down the street didn't have any food for her family, everybody in the neighborhood gave a little bit of this and a little bit of that to feed them. And the problem is we don't know our neighbors anymore. Back in the day, I knew every neighbor on the block, and they knew me. Now,
So Rita, what you're saying, we are going to have to take a 360-degree turn. You see, because remember when it's speaking of back in the day, Shawannah, when people came from the South, they came here to live with Uncle Bubba or Cousin Lizzie. Okay, they lived there until they got a job, got their feet on the ground. But then something happened. We wanted to be like me saying, we wanted every child to have their own bedroom and their own bathroom, and we didn't want anybody else to live with us. Wow, I see a 360-degree turnaround. Where are we now, you guys? Where are we? People having to move back home. Move with Uncle Bubba. Ask Cousin Liz, can I stay in one of your rooms? Isn't it ironic how time has switched things around? But when we start talking about reviving the Black community, I think I was talking to Rita today. We was looking at if a person, Shawannah, is making minimum wage, which is $16.95, I believe, they would be making $34,000 a year. Now, Shawannah, what can you do with $34,000 a year? If you don't know how to cut back and shave off.
Oh my gosh, nothing.
Now the rent gonna be
what I can do with
$2,000.
what I could do with $34,000 a year is think about, and this is what I would like to tell everybody. Think about what you can do better. There's AI courses that you can learn. There's so many things that you can do. You can sell things on the internet. You can go to eBay. You can go to Amazon. You can create something different. You don't have to be stuck with a ceiling or a cap on your head of $34,000. You can decide, you know what, I want to make more, and how. The question is, how do I make more? Not that I can't make more. How do I make more so that your brain can activate and start to think of the different things that you can do in order to achieve the success that you want. So the question is, how much do you want to make, and what do I need to do? Because there's so many new programs, so many new opportunities that exist, and we're just watching it. I mean, I was looking at, and I usually don't do this in the morning because I like to meditate and things like that, but I woke up this morning, and for some reason my TikTok came on, and it was just back to back to back to back, people selling products. And then I decided to go to one person's page, and I saw that one person's page was selling all these different products. So they figured out a way to sell the TikTok products. There's so many different ways to make money. You don't have to sit at home thinking, you know what, I can't do this. You can. All you have to do is figure out a way. You have to ask the appropriate questions, and you'll get the right answers.
And
so you don't have to have a ceiling. You don't have to have a ceiling.
And for those who are not in the process of making extra money, I want you to think about this. If I can't make another dime, if I can't leave my home to do anything but use the income that I have, I want you to think about, what can I shave off? When people tell me they can't save, they don't have a budget because they don't make enough money, there's nobody out there. I don't care how little money you're making, you need to have a budget, and you can look at what you can shave off. Now, I think we have a few callers. I'm going to go to a caller. Go ahead, unmute yourself. Tell us where you're calling from and what's your take on the topic. We're talking about Black women, the backbone of the economic revival for the Black community. Go ahead, caller. You can unmute yourself. Okay. Evidently, the person is just want to listen. The number is 310-928-7733. 310-928-7733. Or you can email us here if you're at work and you know how it is. You don't want them to know what you're talking about. Call 310. No, then you want to email us at innerlightradio@yahoo.com. That's innerlightradio@yahoo.com. Or you can call 310-928-7733. So today we're looking at the fact we said the Black woman is the backbone of the economic revival. Now, we're not saying that the Black woman We're not trying to compare this, not intertwine any kind of way about what the black man is doing. This is about the black woman. Listen to how I set the stage up. I said 60% of the households in the black community are headed by a woman. So that's a big percentage. So when we can lock the economic down from 60% of the household folks, we can do something. We can do something big. So we're going to look at what do we do to get there. You know, Shawannah talked about the hair. The hair industry is a $70 billion industry. 7 with a B. Okay? And I see our children wearing hair, 10 and 7, and I saw a little girl look like she was about 6, had additional hair, somebody's hair on her head. Folks, you have no idea how you can shave that budget. So I want you all to start thinking about, get your pencil and paper out, and just start right now, start thinking about, what can I shave off? What can I do to increase my income so I'll be able to buy property, so I'll be able to leave something for the next generation? All you have to do is just start little bit by little. Look what happened with people when they start $50 a month or $25 a month for an educational fund for their children. By the time they get 18 and are in college, they have enough money to pay a lot toward their education or to buy them a house. It's brick by brick. Because you can't save $1,000 a month, does that mean you don't save anything? Wow. So let's look at some other ways.
I think, Dr. Milligan, it's going to have to be a paradigm shift for us. It's going to have to be a new way of thinking because we've been set in the mold we're in for so long, and some of us are fearful of stepping out on faith and trying something new. But it's a new day, and with this new administration coming in, it's going to be tight. So we're going to have to be creative and learn additional ways. And we're also going to have to go back to helping one another. We're going to have to rely on one another. We don't have the time to sit back and criticize, she thinks she cute. Well, maybe she is. Work with one another. Stop backbiting each other and be collaborative, because as black women, we are extremely creative and innovative. We just have to sit down, get quiet, and listen for spirit to guide us. And then, like you said, have that piece of paper there and write those things down. Have a piece of paper and a pen by your bed, because some of my greatest ideas come to me in the middle of the night. And I guarantee you, if I don't write it down right then and right there, when I wake up in the morning, that's gone.
And Rita, the key thing you said, if we're going to survive, it's going to be with collaboration. It's definitely this individuality. It's not going to work to move us to the next level. And I understand the AI man has joined us. Mr. Keith Swanson has joined us. Mr. Keith, we're talking about black women being the backbone to the revival of our economy in the black community. What's your take on that, Mr. Keith? AI? Okay. He'll catch up with us. He'll come in. But let's talk about some other thing that's real serious about this, how we can help. Black women going to have to start teaching their daughters to empower themselves, that they can take care of themselves by themselves. And that's not trying to say you don't need a man. I'm not going there with it. Because you can have a man, he could get sick, he could pass away, you have children. Are you going to fall into an economic ditch? Black women need to start teaching their daughters that these young men do not have to buy them things. Buy things for yourself. I think when we talk about our community, a lot of young men drop out of school, do stuff they shouldn't be doing because they want to have money to spend on their women, their girlfriends. So women, since 60% of us are raising these boys and these girls, then we need a new trend of thinking so we can raise the economic in our community. So you're going to have to look at, what are you teaching your boys? What are you teaching your girls? Did Keith come on the phone being a man? I want to know what is his take. Keith, are you there? Okay, the technician told me you were on. We have a caller. Caller, go ahead. Seems like most of you just want to listen, but if you want to chime in, looking at what can we do? What can we do? We can start cooking, okay? What about starting right there?
Oh my God, cooking.
What about
Yeah.
starting right there in the kitchen? Start right
Not
there.
only will you save money, but you'll eat healthy.
Right, save your life.
Exactly.
Save your life. You see, it is so important when I see children, because my business right across from a McDonald's. When I see kids in there buying their breakfast, I'm saying now you can cook a breakfast in 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes on any given day. You can prepare breakfast.
They
Multiply.
go
Go
buy an
ahead.
air fryer.
Thank
Go
you.
buy an air fryer. They found out you can set, a McDonald's fries is like $3 or $4, right? You can buy a whole bag frozen
Uh-huh.
fries of what, $10, okay, and get you what, 20 portions. Come on,
Hmm.
there's ways to do it. The other thing you got to do is nowadays is keep these children and especially the women off, the girls off the phones. Okay, they're attached to the screens. They should be reading instead of what they found out is most Gen Zs, Gen A's and Gen Zs, and some millennials don't read very well. It's because they're so attached to the phone. Just by you putting down the phone and getting rid of the electronic device puts you in the top, say 20%, just by being able to read well.
That's right. And Keith, talk about that. With that, how does that transcend into economic? So
Okay,
you're right on. No, you're
uh,
right on. I want you to go forward with
okay.
that.
I just read an article. Well, there's an article and read a couple of YouTube videos about most Gen Zs now coming in nowadays they're not prepared to be into the workforce, right? And they're getting laid off. So if you want a better job, better position, get more money, just in this economy alone, okay, the biggest thing you can do is get your kids off those screens. Stop scrolling on your phone. Pick up a book, read, okay? But anything that you want to do, anything that you want to do can be found and done basically online. You can get teachers, tutors, you can learn all kind of stuff. I know several people that just in the digital industry, right? They went from making nothing to making $100,000 just by taking courses online. It can be done. Okay, the thing is you have to put down your phone, stop going on TikTok and Facebook and Instagram and all that kind of stuff, and texting back and forth with your compatriots.
Yeah.
Back
Because
and learn them. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
exactly. 'Cause what we're really talking about, folks, is how can we infuse
Hmm.
more income into our community,
Hmm.
even if we didn't get a raise on our jobs. If
Right.
nothing else changed
Hmm.
externally,
Right.
I want you to go inside and look at, I'm going to work with what I got.
Hmm.
That sounds good. Let me say that again.
You know, Dr. Milligan, I'm transported back in history because when Mary McLeod Bethune established Bethune-Cookman College, she baked sweet potato pies.
Hmm.
Use what you have in your hands. If your hands are gifted in baking or sewing, get busy utilizing the skill sets that you do have. And like Keith just said, there are a plethora of things we can learn on the internet. If you're going to spend time on the internet, make it be beneficial to you. And as far as people not having good reading skills, parents, I implore you, visit your schools, your child's schools, visit it frequently, And if you don't think their education is where it should be, go down to the Board of Education. I go down there regularly. I do not have a child in the world, but I'm very concerned about what goes on at my high school alma mater, Crenshaw High. I'm there a lot because I care about those children. When I go down to the Board of Education, it's myself and my girlfriend that are black. But those Hispanics flood that Board of Education. They have to have interpreters, but they show up for their kids. We have to start doing that also.
Okay, now, when you read a broader point, listen up. Show up for your kids. When you show up, what are you doing? You're raising the economy in your community because you're rearing up children now who are able to not just get a job, but to start their own businesses. So all this ties in. It really does. It ties in. So we have to look at what can black women do to change this condition. Now, I know somebody's going to come in here, well, black men need to do this. I'm not talking about black men today. You get your chance. I'm gonna talk about what black men can do. We all can do something, but we want to isolate this and look at it. Then we look at what can our children do. There's some things that they can do to change, but we have to instill value in them. But one thing we know we can change the money that we're spending in restaurants, in fast food joints. Here you making $16 an hour, and you got your black self sitting up in Starbucks.
Right.
I'll call the police. I'll arrest you just for that time. How much money you make? What's your salary? What's your salary? How much you make? Get out of here! Boom. Folks, they think it's cute. Oh, I went to Starbucks. How? I ain't gonna say nothing. Y'all go ahead. My blood pressure going up. It makes no sense at all. You know, you go out, you buy 4 pieces of chicken, $10. You could have bought a whole chicken. Had some left when you will. Folks, all I'm saying is, we can do this, you all. We can do this with what we have. We can change this. It's within our reach. Don't feel like it's impossible. Work that $16 hour money. Figure out what you can do.
Yeah.
Go in together when you go to Smart and Final or Costco. Come on, Rita, I need to go to Costco. I need some toilet. I do too. Well, let's split a whole case. What's wrong with that?
Right, and you can make more because the bar is low. For making money, the bar is really low because they really have all the Western society has been dumbed down to the point where the bar is really low.
I feel like we can turn this community around, our community around.
Good.
If nobody came in to help us, if nobody did anything for us, with what we have right now, I think we can do it. What you think?
You know what the
one
thing is?
We need to be cognizant of, Dr. Milligan, nobody is coming for us. Let's be clear on that.
Oh, they're trying to bury you.
Nobody is coming for us. So we're going to have to rely on us.
Oh, they're trying to bury you. Okay, why do you think they're bringing these people in? They're trying to bury you. They're not trying to come for you. They're trying to bury you right now.
Wow.
And we may have to go back to, for those of us that have nice sized backyards, we may have to start growing vegetables our own.
But that we really need to do, start. And we have to take care of our own, just like Rita mentioned. She and some of the people that she knows. These people have flooded my office with clothes. Particularly, we needed clothes for men. I had some women on the show. You remember when they talked about they was housing the unhoused and the things they needed. You know, someone came yesterday. I think they brought a toaster, some kitchenware. These people need everything. We have enough in the storage, storage over LA to empty them out and make sure all our people are doing well. Because how many times people going to go to the store? You don't even go to the garage after you put something in it and look at it. So we're going to have to be creative. Go ahead, Keith.
Yeah, you itemize it and have a central database. I mean, we get everything's online, right? If you want to start almost like a Salvation Army, all you have to do is go to your storage and itemize what you have, put the list up, and then if somebody needs something, it's there. You said, okay, if this person has a toaster, a suit, or a size 10 shoe, it, 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 you can keep track of this stuff is because the ability to do that is right there. Okay, you don't need just like Amazon. You don't need a physical store. Okay, you don't need a
So
physical store. Most of this stuff is virtual. Okay, all you need is all you have to do is connect people, and we walk around with the connection device in our hand.
Keith, you're absolutely right. I had someone called me. They
Hmm.
were getting rid of their office in Van Nuys,
Hmm.
and they was had someone picking up all the furniture, everything, just to throw it. They send it landfill wherever you just. She
Yeah.
just needed to get it out of her office,
Hmm.
so you can get your deposit back and leave the office clean.
Yeah.
And someone called me that's because I know you know people. I
Hmm.
mean, brand new desks, chairs, file
I have,
cabinets,
I have it.
all
I have brand new
types
debt.
of stuff. So what happened is all I did was make calls to other people. I had the guy to pick it up from Van Nuys, and one lady that got one of the couches that we were able to send to her.
Hmm.
You know what she said? She told her friend. She said, "I'm so grateful because I just moved here in this house, and
Hmm.
I don't have a bed. I've been sleeping on chairs."
Hmm.
Did you hear me?
Yeah.
So these are the type of things when you hear about something, if you don't need it,
Yeah.
find out if there's somebody else needed it. Oh no, honey, I don't need no chair. I don't need this. You'd be surprised.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'd be
Yes.
surprised.
Somebody does. Yeah.
Yes. And so you find out, and we got to just recycle. Recycle. Use what you have.
Yeah.
Okay?
The thing is connecting with people. Okay.
It's about
It's
connecting.
about connection, and that's the whole thing about where the world already is, not where it's going. Already is people are connected, and the thing is about how do you use your connections. Okay,
Right.
how do you even? There's a book called The Long Tail, right? Even if you're trying to sell what you know or what you do or even what you have, right? Okay, someplace you got 8 billion people on the planet. Someplace, somewhere, somebody needs to hear or needs to know or needs what you have. The thing is finding that person.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Those who are just holding on and listen, if you decide to jump in, just unmute
Hmm.
yourself because we're going to keep going with it's so important, Keith. Now think about it. Your heart would go out when you think about how many people in our community that's making minimum wage.
Hmm.
And if that person have children, Keith,
Hmm.
how can I mean we talking about $34,000 a year
Okay.
and you have to pay rent. You
Hmm.
have to feed children.
Hmm.
I mean, folks, but we still, in spite of it, we got to find a way. That's my point.
Hmm.
You still have to find a way. And Rita made it very clear. You can be resourceful.
Hmm.
Can you imagine if someone said, well, I do alteration. Do you know how much money you can make? How people always having clothes taken up and let out, taken up and let
Very
out,
true.
add another piece in it.
Very true.
Just basic stuff, just basic ideas that you can do.
As I'm, as
Go
hello,
ahead.
hi
Go
Dr.
ahead.
Rosie, how are you?
Hi, who am I speaking with?
This is Shannon. Happy New
Okay,
Year.
thank you.
You're welcome. As I'm listening, I'm thinking about how underutilized this whole concept is in the churches. I feel like if you have a bulk of members, there should be some sort of resource set up within the church, even so that there's exchanges and swaps or transactions between
Hmm.
the members of the church, because it can start wherever you have a crowd of people. Once somebody introduced the concept of bartering or having services for each other, it'll take us further in the economic space. That's what I
Hmm.
really believe.
Hmm.
Shannon, that is really good because my sister went to a church in Atlanta, and what the people would do, they would bring their clothes good clothes, stuff they were not going to wear, and they had a room where they would have these clothes. Now you could bring clothes, and then you could take some of what somebody else had brought. So that's really a good idea. They are so underutilized. That's really a good idea. It's like swapping clothes. You bring it, somebody there in the church need it, or they may know somebody else who needs it. So we really got to go back. Now that's simple. It doesn't take. How much money did it take to do that, Shannon? None, right?
None.
Yeah, and we always say, "Well, I can't do this because I'm on a fixed income." I'm so sick of people talking about fixed income.
Yeah, but you have a smartphone that you sit down and browse today and scroll through. You can do a lot with what you have in your hand.
That's right. Well,
the other thing is we can go over our budgets and trim the fat. Like, I don't know about you, but DirecTV calls me all the time with this. Well, we have a 2-month introductory fee to get X amount of more channels. I don't need them. The lady was going to argue me down yesterday. Well, it's free for 2 months. I said, number one, I don't want it. Number two, I don't need it. Number three, I'm not paying for it. We don't have to have 129 channels. Because you can only watch one at a time.
Unless you sitting there, even if you're sitting at home all day, anybody's got time to watch TV all day. Rita,
because that's the problem, Dr. Milligan. Maybe we sitting on our behinds and not engaging our minds.
That is the problem.
Wow.
That is the problem. You just hit it right there on the head. That's the problem.
Anybody making $16.95 an hour should not have cable. Should not be struggling. Why do you need cable? That makes no sense at all. I hear people saying they're paying $200 a month for cable bill, and some saying they're paying a whole lot for their cell phone. I don't know why they're paying so much.
Because everybody wants to have the latest apple that comes out.
That's true.
They need to remember it's an apple that got us in trouble to begin with. Eve got Adam to eat it, and we've been choking on it ever since.
I love it.
Wow. Well, yeah, because someone told me.
And that Apple is our downfall, too, that iPhone.
Yeah, you know
downfall.
Yes, they're so expensive now.
What it does to the mind and what it does to the culture, that's the downfall.
But what is it doing that you can't do with the I-10 or the I-8?
Right. We should go back to the dumb phone.
I had an 8 and a 12 forever. I had an iPhone 8 forever and an iPhone 12.
That remind me, Keith, I was at a funeral, one of my family's funerals, and, had to help bury them. You know how that is. So one of the niece looked at me and she said, "Auntie, you still got that Android?" I said, "Yes, and I have life insurance." It's amazing. But for parents, let me say this to parents. You have the power to direct how your children are going to go. And get out of this. Well, when I was growing up, I didn't have all these things. I keep hearing mothers say that. Well, I didn't have this, so I want to make sure my children are not deprived. Make sure that they are not deprived of learning how to read, write, and do arithmetic. That's what you need to make sure that they are not deprived of. It doesn't make sense to keep watching them and that's their own money. They working. Are they paying rent? No, they're not paying rent.
Yeah.
So that's how they can get to I-15. And you paying all the bills and you don't have a nickel saved. If these kids are working, they need to pay rent. I'm going to say that again. Because if they don't, what are they doing with the money, Keith? Buying all. They're not saving it. They're not saving so they can buy a house.
They're flossing and trying to keep up with the next kid. That's what they're trying to do. Yeah. And I said something. I always say this to parents, right? Especially the black women, right? Okay. about their kids' future. I said,
It better be black women. I better not catch you talking to nobody other than a black woman. What you talking about?
no, well, I'm black, and
Yeah,
basically
yeah, Keith. Yes, Keith. That's what I'm
that's
saying as
that's
well.
what that's what.
Keith, I'm gonna go in on that one. That's three of us.
Well, the issue is, I said, because black women always complain about where the state of people and how much we earn and stuff like that. So I always ask, especially if they have children, I say, who earns the most? And they'll always say Asian, and then East, West Asian, and East Asian, and then they'll say white, and then they'll say Latino, and then they'll say black. I said, okay, now. There's one that earns the most, right? Who gets all the degrees? The same list of people, right? Okay. So let me ask you, who studies the most when they're kids? It's in the exact same order, okay? Asians study 4, almost 5 hours a day. White people study 3, Latinos study 2, and black folks last with 1. Why is that? I mean, it can't get any clearer than that.
No, it can't.
Because our value system often is skewed. Like you can go on YouTube and you can see these little beautiful black children, and they can shake their rump to the funk.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But ask them to do their multiplication tables. Ask them to say their ABCs. See, that's not cute to me. What's cute to me is when you graduate with honors. What's cute to me is when you can be a participating person in the life of your community. That's cute to me, because all that shaking, where are the Soul Train dancers now?
And Rita, you are absolutely telling the truth. We have to get into the educational part, because that's what's going to change the direction from the economic standpoint of the community. When I'm looking at these young people, Keith, they're coming to my business. Well, see, it's hard. I can't find no job. That's what you know how to do. Oh, I can do anything. That's what, if you could do anything, you would certainly have a job. Do you know computer? You have computer skill. I don't know nothing about that. But you just told me you can do anything. You see, it is going to be so important. So we're talking about what can we do to change. What can the black woman do? You can stay on your children. You can be a role model. You may get on the computer yourself, take some classes. Let them see you trying to advance yourself.
Yeah,
do you realize what that means when they see you doing something?
Let them see you pick up a book.
Yes.
Instead of being on your phone scrolling.
Yes.
Instead of being in front of the TV, instead of gossiping, let them see you. I would love to hear a kid said, I grew up with my mother reading to me and reading to herself. She never had a phone in her hand. What she had is a book in her hand all the time.
Wow, that's powerful. That's what I could say about my father. My father read everything. Even children's books, anything came his way. I remember one day, he was in his 80s. He had this book in there. Jack and Jill went up the hill. He just laughed. And I said, Lord, he reading the children's story. He read everything, anything that had writing on it. So, black women, we're doing a call out to say to you, we're not trying to blame you for anything, but we're saying you in a powerful position. Why?
Yeah.
Because when I hear you talk about these boys, these men, men, dogs, I'm saying, well, what kind of puppies did you raise? Because you raised most of them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What did you raise? And I ain't talking about teaching them to be a man. I'm talking about rearing them to be, his daddy said, decent and in order. It's really said with integrity, with respect, with self-esteem. You can do that.
You know what I hate, Dr. Rose, that really irks me? As a black man, okay, I can see when I see a black man that's been falsely accused and after 20 years gets out of jail, okay, I don't see a black woman as his lawyer standing next to him to get him out of jail. That irks me. Wow. It's always a white woman. It's always a white Jewish woman. She's been working 15, 20 years to get this guy out of jail. Wow. I don't see a black face in sight. And that irks me. It just does something to me. I don't, and it always has. I said, why is it always a white woman that's on his arm? Okay, that she spent half her life trying to get this black man falsely accused out of jail. How come it's not, one of my sisters? Okay,
Well, you
well,
know
one of
what?
our brothers.
Well,
Yes, yes, ma'am.
That's why our kids sometimes think that the white man ice is colder. You see,
Yeah, it's been that way
we
for a long
got
time,
to
baby.
we got to make some changes, folks, and we can do it. I don't care whatever the condition. I know things look dismal, but folks, I tell you, you're in better position than our forefathers were. And look
Hmm.
what they came through. We are where we are today because they stood to the test. They collaborated. They
Hmm.
kept each other children. When they finished their work, they went over and helped the other person. Folks, we got to go back to what worked.
Yeah.
Why are we getting away, Keith, from what worked?
the other thing that worked, Dr. Milligan, is we had a whole lot more faith then than we do now. I know I am where I am today because somebody prayed for me.
Hmm.
Aunt Edna, Uncle Wash, and my mother prayed for me. And that's why I know from whence my blessings come, and that's from God Almighty. We have turned our back on Him. We have gotten all these false gods, these designer purses, these designer clothes, these fast cars. We have to get back to basics,
And really,
loving one another, helping
Hmm.
one another, and asking God to help all of us.
well, one of the reasons we're talking about the revival of economics for the black community, Rita, has a lot to do with what you're saying. Our children, if we're not careful, if we don't come out of this economic ditch and from beneath
Ooh.
the economic rubbish,
Hmm.
our kids gonna think that they are stepchildren to God, and they're looking at us saying, "Where is your God? You just got evicted. They took your car. You can't
Hmm.
get no job. You tell me that God will open doors, and every door in America seem to be closed in your face." We are going to have to make a different stance with how we live and how we partake in what God has put here for us. Somebody needs to say amen.
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 Like Dr. Rosie says, we didn't wake up white this morning. Okay.
Yes, that's right. When I hear someone say, well,
Hmm.
if I had been white and made that donut in the street, the cop wouldn't have stopped me. I said, well, did you look in the mirror? Were you white when you left home? Did you know you were black when you left home? Did somebody tell you white? What's going on? Folks, all I'm saying to you, my heart goes out for what I see. It's Harriet Tubman was saying the song, Nobody Knows the Trouble I See. And I think there are people, Keith, that kind of get a glimpse of it, and that's why they're dazzled out. Smoking weed, drinking
Hmm.
alcohol,
Hmm.
can't face the
They lost hope.
music.
They
Yeah,
lost hope.
lost hope.
Yeah.
Can't dance to the music they
Hmm.
see. We
Hmm.
got to turn this around and let them know that there is hope. But what we have to teach them, how to don't look at Mr. and Mrs. Jones. Start where you are.
Hmm.
Think about Miriam Cloud Bethune. Think about Madam C.J. Walker. She didn't have a role model, but she knew that there was a need,
Hmm.
and she went to it. So
Yeah.
it's going to be, folks, there's so much that we can do. So I'm going to say to the women out there, make sure your children can read. Let them see you reading. If they see you with all the designers and all the jewelry, all the hair, they're going to want it too. Kids want to do what they see their parents do. Even if you are a criminal, sometimes your kids want to be a criminal. They want to be what you are. So
They
it
do.
really starts
Hmm.
with our women. Why am I saying, I'm not blaming you? Why am I saying I'm talking about women today? Because 60% of our households are headed by women. That
Hmm.
means that these children are in your hand. Their future is in your hand. Our economic survival is in your hand. So take up the challenge and say,
Hmm.
I want to be a part of that. I'm going to start with my children today. I'm going to make sure that they know how to cook. They're not going to these fast food places. I'm going to make sure that each one of my children have a savings account. I don't care if it ain't but $10 in it.
Mm-hmm.
Take open account. And when they see it grow, you know how it is. When your money starts growing, the more you want, the more you do. So women, can we at least do that? Make sure each one of your children have a bank account.
Mm-hmm.
That's important.
Right.
You know,
Right.
Dr. Milligan, there's an old adage that says, the hand that rocks the cradle
Rules the world. Yes,
rules the world.
it
And
does.
women, I want to unpack that for you. You may come from humble beginnings. I know I did. But I saw my great aunt and great uncle reading the Bible. Now, they only
Say
had
it.
an
Say it again, black
elementary
girl.
school education.
Mm-hmm.
But what they did was they made sure that I learned how to read, and at a
Mm-hmm.
certain age, like at 8 years old, they had me reading to them. That reinforced to me
Mm-hmm.
how critically important knowing how to read was. And when I was teaching some of my classes, I would tell my students, readers grow up to be leaders. If you can't read, you can't lead. And you need to know your numbers, because if you're an athlete and you get a contract and they tell you they're going to give you X amount of millions per year, and they leave off a zero and you don't count it, you're getting X amount of thousands, not millions. It's imperative that our children know how to read.
It is. You know, I think they say, you know, Ben Carson, who wrote the book, These Gifted Hands. I mean, a
Mm-hmm.
powerful book. I think every child should read that book. But they said later, I was reading where they say how his mother made him read, go to the library, and he
Right.
found out years later she couldn't read. That
You-
she was a very poor reader, couldn't hardly read at all. But
Yeah.
he didn't know it because
Yeah.
she made him read.
Yeah.
He
You know,
was
there's,
into it.
there's a movie called Spook That Sat by the Door, right? Where the guy he got educated and went into the CIA, right? And he said the same thing about his grandmother, right? He would bring his lesson home, and she said, "Come on, baby." Grandma would say, "Come on, baby, sit down and read with me," you know. And he one day he said he saw her mouthing the words as he read, right? And he realized his grandma couldn't read. He said from then on he ran home with his book so they could teach his grandmother to read.
Wow.
That's powerful.
Yes,
Each
it
one
is.
reach one, each
Mm.
one teach one.
Wow. Well, folks, you know our time is about up, but I tell you what, I'm gonna leave with you women. I want to tell you we have a job to do, but
Yeah.
guess what? We can do it. That's what I want to tell you. We can do it. We're gonna have to make some changes. And let me also make an announcement. The Power of Love Ministry, that's right across the street from me, 1430 West Manchester, on the 18th of this month is having Community Day. Have a community prayer breakfast. You have people of all faith that's going to be there. You have vendors who are going to be there. The breakfast is free. They have a big clothing giveaway, food. People walk away and coming back and get more. They have more food than you can even imagine, and clothes. They'll be doing high blood pressure testing. It's just going to be so much, folks, and that's free. That's at 1430 West Manchester Avenue, just west of Normandy, right next to McDonald on Manchester, just west of Normandy. That's Saturday the 18th. You don't want to miss that. They have plenty of funds, games, things for the children, so you definitely want to be there. But I want to say to my guests, to my new assistant co-host Rita Hall, want to say to Shawannah, the real estate guru, Mr. Keith Swanson, the AI man, we're going to keep doing this thing, and we have faith in you, women. We believe you can do it. We can see you at the top. I can see you running. I can see you doing it. I don't care what your salary is. Save something. You can do it. You can
Pick up
do
a
it.
We
pick up a book.
believe in you.
Pick up a book and pick up a budget. Okay, those two
Pick up a
things.
book and pick up
Yes,
a budget. Sean,
Definitely.
yes, we thank all those who called in, who was listening. I call her my goddaughter, Shawannah. She came on. She better get over here and help me with Black Writers on Tour. You better call me. Your
You know
mama
I
needs
got
some
you.
help.
I got you.
All right, all right. I need you. Okay, thank you guys. Have a great day as you go on your way. Pass the word. Each woman you see, you let her know we're on the move. I'm getting ready for the closed door Black Women Conference, you guys. Black women only. Now, you know if you're black or not. Don't come up trying to act like you're black when you're not. Okay. We're going to have a great time. Y'all have a great day. Shawannah, keep selling those houses. Keep being AI. Rita, keep spreading the joy. You guys have a great day.